Hello everyone, and welcome to Section 1 of the Golden Garrisons video series. This one is all about land missions, and that's the most profitable thing you can do in the garrison. In order to get land missions, though, you need a level 3 garrison, at least. So, for those of you who haven't already got one, and I'm sure there are a few of you out there, I'll explain just what you need to do to get one. The rest of you can just skip ahead a few minutes to when I'm done. When you first finish the Tanaan storyline, you arrive here, at the edge of Frostwall, and you have to climb your way up these winding roads all the way to where the garrison is first founded, at the top of the hill beyond the lava. Once you get there, you can do a series of quests to get a level 1 garrison going, and then a few more quests to get a few basic structures functioning. But once you finally got the structures going, you have to start doing quests outside of the area to get it bigger. Now, once you've got the level 1 going, the chief of the Frostwolf clan, Durotan, will send you across the way to Wargol here, and it's currently under attack by Iron Horde forces. You beat them, and then you head up north to the Bladespire Citadel, where you rout the ogres inside and take control of the citadel for yourself. Once Durotan's in charge there, he sends you north to Dagomar Ravine to meet up with his brother Gunnar. Now that quest line ends with you killing a large Grahn in caverns underneath the ravine over here. Once that Grahn is dead, all you have to do is return to your garrison, and they'll upgrade it for you for free to level 2. Getting a level 3 garrison is a bit trickier, though. You need to be level 100, which actually doesn't take that long these days. But you also need some garrison resources and some gold, so you'll have to work at it a bit. The good news is, you can do missions as soon as you have a garrison, and some of these missions will actually grant you experience. Conceivably, you could go from level 91 all the way to level 100 just doing missions alone, though that would take a while. At any rate, once you've got your level 3 garrison up and running, you need to start figuring out exactly which structures you want. Now, a level 3 garrison allows you 2 large structures, those are right here, 2 medium structures up here and down there, and 3 small structures. Now, there are some critical structures that you're going to want, and I'll list them out for you right now. The barracks is absolutely essential. Not only does it allow you to have 5 more active followers at once, bumping your total up to 25, but it gives you access to patrol missions, and, as I said before, the more missions you can complete, the better off you'll be. The second large structure is kind of more nebulous. You start out probably wanting a war mill, because you'll be leveling up lots of followers and you're going to need equipment for them all. And the war mill allows you to trade garrison resources, using work orders, to get armor and weapon upgrades, and you're going to need a lot of them. However, once your core group of followers is set, you don't really need the war mill anymore, and you can replace it with something else. I chose stables, but I've heard that the Spirit Lodge, the one with the portals that allow you to go all over Draenor, that's also pretty useful. As for medium structures, well, the tavern is an absolute must-have. Not only does it allow you, at level 3, to have garrison treasure missions, which give you a bunch of gold. At level 2, it allows you to hire your own followers, which is absolutely essential. I mean, I couldn't do without it. The other medium structure is pretty much a no-brainer as well. You have really the choice between a trading post and a lumberyard, and I chose the trading post. These 2 structures both generate garrison resources. The trading post does it a little bit less efficiently, but it's a lot easier to get work orders going with it, rather than running all over Draenor chopping down trees and bringing the lumber back here. In addition, the trading post allows you, later on, also very important, to trade garrison resources directly for gold if you need to, which I found to be pretty badass. The 3 small structures are also pretty important. I went with a salvage yard, again, a must-have. As long as you have a salvage yard in your garrison, every time you complete a mission, you have a chance of picking up salvage. And that salvage is always worth something to sell, so just keep one in your garrison. The tricky part is that you need to be level 96 to even get a salvage yard, because it requires a quest chain starting in the Spires of Arak. The other 2 structures I chose specifically for their work order value, because the materials produced by their work orders are not bind on pickup and can be sold on the auction house. The Alchemy Lab produces alchemical catalysts, which go for between 4 and 5 gold right now, each. And the Enchanter Study turns Dranic Dust into temporal crystals, which go for 55 to 60 gold apiece, each. In addition, the Enchanter Study is essential if you aren't an enchanter yourself, because it allows you to disenchant any Draenor items you pick up automatically. You don't need an enchanter around to help you. And you can even disenchant bind on pickup items, which no enchanter can do for you. The other structures in the garrison are automatic. They're pretty helpful, but they're not absolutely necessary. In addition, there's a pet menagerie over here that I never bothered to build. I'm not much of a pet battler. And now on to followers. The standard mission table looks a little bit different than what I've got here, because I'm using an add-on called Master Plan. And Master Plan is extremely useful. I really have to recommend it. Now, under these circumstances, it shows all of the missions that I have ready to complete, and as you can see, I've got a few of them. Not all of them are 100% though. My followers aren't perfectly geared to handle all of the threats that they face. So I'm just going to complete all here and hope for the best. Ah, dang. Okay. Well, you win some, you lose some. Although that's 450 gold down the drain. Anyway, the Garrison Mission Report shows you everything that you gained from completing those missions. And as you can see, I got oil, no big deal there. Salvage crates, of course, because I completed missions. Garrison resources. Some archaeology stuff that I can use later on. A runic pouch that contains augment runes. Basically, I just sell those usually. And gold. And then it lists the missions that I can complete, and there are a lot of them, as you can see. Now, the best kinds of followers you can have for your garrison have the following abilities. Treasure hunters are the top rung, really, followed closely by scavengers. Now, treasure hunters, when you have them, will automatically increase the gold that they get from any gold mission that they go on. So if I'm completing a mission, say, that awards 27 gold, but I use a treasure hunter, I get 55. Or if I'm completing a mission that normally awards 40, I get 80 out of it. Unfortunately, I don't have any garrison resource missions to show you, but scavengers work exactly the same way for garrison resource missions. Whatever awards they give you, double it for every scavenger you can assign to it. Now, these are the traits that you need to counter, and there are 9 of them, as you can see. Treasure hunters are pretty straightforward when it comes to that. You need 2 treasure hunters who can counter wild aggression, and then 1 for each of the others. That doesn't necessarily mean you need 10 different treasure hunter followers. Some of them can double up, because at max level, every follower can counter 2 different things. So if you're lucky, you'll have 5 treasure hunters who can cover the entire range of treasure missions. Scavengers are a little bit less strict. They don't need 2 wild aggression, they just need 1 of everything. Now, there is only 1 follower who starts with treasure hunter, and that's Harrison Jones. You might remember him from previous expansions as the world-renowned archaeologist and explorer, who did a whole bunch of things in the Cataclysm. But for the first time in the game, we actually get him as a follower here, and he is not easy to get. For one thing, you need to complete 6 separate quest lines, all geared towards relics that he's looking for, and they're not necessarily very easy to get. Right here is where the random NPC shows up every morning at 6 o'clock, at least 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And as you can see, it's Sourfang today, and he's not offering the quest that I need. He's just offering a raid quest. So, when that happens, what you need to do is go to the group finder, pre-made groups, look for custom groups, and search for Harrison. Now, they're not available right now because it's still pretty early in the morning, but if you keep on looking for Harrison, eventually you will find a garrison that has him in it and is offering. And all you have to do is go and visit that garrison, usually by joining the group. Actually, you have to join the group, and pick up the quest and then go and complete it. You don't even need him in your garrison to start working on them. Once you've completed all 6 quest lines, you get Harrison as a follower, and he's replaced in your garrison, if he ever shows up again, by his associate, Surveyor Daltrey. Now Harrison, like I said before, is the only follower who's guaranteed to be a treasure hunter, but he's special for a whole other reason entirely. Because you can get treasure hunters pretty easily if you have the time, but Harrison himself has a special ability called Mentor. Now, Harrison allows anyone who's with him, using this ability, to be treated as though they are his level and his gear. So basically, I could take a level 90 and pair him up with Harrison Jones, and he'd be treated as a level 100 with 675 gear. It allows him to gain experience dramatically fast. So, ordinarily, in order to level a follower from 90 to 100 would take days. You'd have to do mission after mission after mission, 92, 94, 95, 97, all the way up. With Harrison, you can conceivably do it in hours. because he just allows you to skip the lower levels entirely with one big mission. I'll show you what I mean. Now, the best way to get treasure hunters, if you don't have Harrison or you don't expect to get him anytime soon, is to go to the headhunter. Now, the headhunter is actually not as fierce as she sounds. She is a scout, a talent scout of sorts. She gets here when you build a level 2 tavern, and she sticks around once you upgrade that to level 3. Now, she's right here, a Kanja. And every week, starting Tuesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, you can talk to a Kanja and hire a new follower. And you can look through the traits and the abilities available. You can choose which threat to counter of the 9 that there are. You can choose which trait you want, anything from special environment preferences to rewards to mission duration, all the way down to what kind of monsters they're trying to slay or what kind of people they like to work with. Now, I almost always go with the increased rewards treasure hunter because, well, it's obvious, we want gold. So, once I'm sure which trait or which ability I want, and you can't go back on this until next week, you get another shot at it, you choose the recruit. Now, as you can see, I have 3 options here. Combat rogues, named Pinky Ridzno Rendrol Gorslash, and a protection paladin by the name of Mirheen Sunfall. Now, Pinky has a secondary ability called Burst of Power. That's useful on missions that don't last particularly long. But I'm not particularly a fan of combat rogues. They don't have the abilities that I'm looking for right now. So I'm going to go with Mirheen instead. I hire him, and now he's basically mine for the rest of the game. Now that I've hired him, I head back to my garrison and start doing them missions. Now, here's the funny thing. You can't complete any missions if you have more than 25 followers, or 20 if you don't have a barracks. So I have to retire a follower. That doesn't mean I'm throwing him out on his ass or anything. That means that I'm simply putting him aside in favor of someone else. Well, I just got Mirheen. Let's see what he can do. He can do Divine Shield. Now, as you can see according to that list, he can block Massive Strike, and Mueha can block Massive Strike as well. In addition, I have 3 followers who have Wild Aggression. So, I can take Mueha out of this list without compromising my entire group. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Hello, Mueha, and goodbye, Mueha. Now, you can deactivate followers as often as you want, but you can only reactivate them once per day, and it costs gold. So be careful if you want to hold on to someone later on. Okay, now I'm down to 25 out of 25, and I can start doing my missions. Now, my first priority is always leveling up my new followers. It's the best way to do things. So, I look for experience totals that really impress me. 12,000 is pretty good, but I've got a 15,000 mission up here. So I'm going to try and do this one. Oof, that's a problem. I only have 8 hours before I have to be back, and this mission takes 10. So I'm going to have to skip over that one, since I can't seem to be able to do it at 100% without taking a lot of time. Conceivably, I could do it at 62% in 5 hours, thanks to Ida's epic mount, but I'm simply not willing to risk a mission at that low percentage. So I'm going to skip over this one in favor of the 12,000 over here. And since I have 8 hours, I can come back in time to complete this one. So, using Master Plan, that's the interface that allows me to look at all the missions at once, I can right-click, and that will automatically assign the followers. So right now, Harrison, Palas, and Mirheen are all assigned. And since Harrison's part of the group, Mirheen's pretty much guaranteed to level at least 6 times. Now, I can complete the rest of the missions, and I award them basically a priority on how soon they're about to expire, so I never lose any. Now, as you can see, this one's about to expire, so I send that one in. It doesn't really matter which of these followers I pick, because each one will give the most rewards, so there. Okay, now that the gold is taken care of, ordinarily I would look for garrison resources, but I don't have any. So, on to oil. Now, there are 2 options here, an 88% and 100%, but the 100% awards less oil, obviously, because I have fewer grease monkeys on it. But I don't really care all that much about oil. I've got tons of it, and it's not like I'm going to spend it anytime soon, so I'm pretty much always going to go for the 100% when it comes to oil. I could try the 8-hour one here, but it's 35 hours from expiring, so I've got plenty of time before it goes away. And I need Vazik to make it at least more profitable than it is currently. So skipping over that. Same for the Primal Spirits here. I could conceivably send it out at 93%, but why risk it? Especially not when I can send my followers on other missions, and I've got plenty of time before this sucker expires. So, follower upgrades, Blackrock and War Ravaged. Usually I hold on to the Blackrock and I sell the War Ravaged because I've got way too many of these already. So, send missions out on that one, send missions out on that one. And now I'm running low on followers to send. Garona is the only one who can do that one at 100%, and it's the closest to being expired, so I send her out there. And I only have one mission left at 100%, so I send that. And that's all I can do. Once I'm sure about the assignments I've made, I simply click Send Tentative Parties. As you can see, they're all at 100%, which is the way I like it. And it sends them off one by one. Now, obviously this took a little bit of time, especially since I was explaining it as we went. But once you get a lot of experience under your belt, you can do that in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes per follower. And I've got 11 followers here who do that. So that's 25 minutes for a significant amount of gold, salvage, garrison resources, primal spirits, Apexis crystals, and a lot of other stuff. Frankly, I think Blizzard's actually making it a little bit too easy for us to make gold, which is probably why they're planning on nerfing it. Anyway, final recap. Hire followers every week, look for treasure hunters, and if you have them full up, look for scavengers. And if you have those full up, look for a few grease monkeys just to round it out. Get Harrison, because he can level up your followers in a hurry. Make sure that your garrison is equipped with a barracks, a tavern, and either a trading post or a lumber mill. I prefer the trading post, and a salvage yard. All essential structures. The rest are pretty much neutral. And get Master Plan, or another add-on that allows you to do missions quickly, because this would take forever without it. Anyway, I hope that guide was useful to you, and I look forward to talking to you about the other ones. Have a great day.